Some of the North East's big hitters slogged it out on the weekend in Albury-Wodonga Cricket's 2020. Last year's runner-up, North Albury, had a convincing win over Belvoir, while St Patrick's proved too strong for Lavington.
Two premiership favourites locked horns in the opener for the 2020 season. Patrick Plummer was unlucky against newcomer Ryan Brown. At 2 for 16, St Patrick's brought in one of the association's best batsmen in Luke Restall. Yet it was a shaky start, with Restall almost falling to a Liam Scammell leg cutter. The medium pacer couldn't hide his disappointment, yet only moments later he had Braden Hensel in similar trouble. Scammell continued to torment the Paddy's batsmen to no avail, yet some desperate Lavington fielding restricted the run rate. Hensel found his groove with successive boundaries, including a superb cover drive off Simon Roach. His innings, however, came to an end when he holed out to mid-on. St Pat's posted 124, the Panthers unable to make the chase, falling 24 runs short.
Meanwhile, Tallangatta has the advantage against St Patrick's. Heath Norton and Pat Plummer posted 40s, while Hayden Wilson snared 4 wickets. Greg McGilvray then blasted 7 boundaries in an unbeaten 36. Here's Andrew Moyer again.
Steve Wood had a shout against Tony Ferris. But the opener survived, although Tallangatta didn't know how. Ferris wasn't frightened to take Wood's deliveries on the body, and St Patrick's received some relief with a misfield from Hayden Wilson's bowling. But the hustling postman forced a false shot from Ferris, and he could have been out but for Wood's no ball. It was tough going for the Paddies on a day where no association team passed 160, and the Bushies felt Ferris was out. His bat, though, had hit the ground, but perhaps Wood's persistence played a role in the opener's dismissal. Ferris out for 4 and the home side 1 for 17. Braden Hensel then slipped over from Wood's second ball and survived a caught behind shout. But the youngster held his nerve and cracked the next ball. Tallangatta to resume, though, needing another 112 runs with 8 wickets left. Andrew Moyer, Win News. Meanwhile, St Patrick's will look to defend 158 at home. Tallangatta resuming on 2 for 47. Elsewhere, Wodonga is none for 21, chasing East Albury's 99, while Lavington Panthers posted 7 for 139 against Belvoir. And Dedarang will host a one-day match against Albury after the first day was washed out. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga is set for a return to Riverina's one-time dominant representative competition. The Border Association will tackle the O'Farrell Cup after being bundled out by Murray Valley in the SCG Country Cup.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga is going back to the future.
What we're looking at is the old O'Farrell Cup's been held by either Griffith or Leedon. We're looking to nominate to play a game there.
It's been almost 6 years since the Albury Border Cricket Association, as it was then known, fell to Leedon in the O'Farrell Cup. The competition was once the pinnacle of Riverina cricket, but has faded badly. Cricket Albury-Wodonga's demise in the most prestigious competition in country New South Wales is the reason for the return to the O'Farrell Cup.
Firstly, it was disappointing. No, it's not embarrassing. Murray Cricket Council won the New South Wales Plate last year, so they are the best countryside for up to about 8,000 people.
The Murray Valley defeated Leeton in the opening round of the SCG Country Cup here and followed that with a 5-wicket win over Albury-Wodonga. And Murray's win was without the association's multiple best and fairest winner, Luke Carter. The loss continues Albury-Wodonga's sudden slide as a powerhouse. Just 2 years after finishing 4th in the SCG Country Cup, Riverina's number 1 seed didn't even make it to November. The Riverina zone will now decide if it keeps top spot for next season.
It's hard to get our best 12 or 13 every week, but the guys that we're putting on the park at the moment are our best.
And the association will now turn its attention to the ACT-based Conacher Cup, starting with Leeton on Sunday. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Elsewhere, St Patrick's has taken first innings points in their match against Albury at Bilson Park. Paddy's dominated from the outset, bowling the home side outfitters 109 off 45 overs. Wayne Hawking did the damage with the ball, snaring 4 for 38 against his old side. Braden Hensel and Pat Plummer then went on the attack as St Patrick's surpassed Albury's total, finishing at 3 for 121 at stumps.
Meanwhile, St Patrick's has already snared first innings points against Albury. Joel Morris was the only player to pass 30, while Paddy's recruit Wayne Hawking and veteran Heath Norton were in fine form. St Pat's will start day 2 12 runs ahead with 7 wickets in hand.
Albury won the toss but collapsed to 3 for 14, and Steve Williamson was adamant it should have been 4. The Paddy's new coach couldn't believe the not-out decision, and neither could his teammates. Joel Morris and Josh Warren Marmo set about resurrecting Albury's innings. Morris had a plain miss. And in the next over, Warren Marmo's pull shot just cleared mid-wicket. Morris adopted an aggressive stance to break up the Paddy's attack, and it worked occasionally with a rare boundary. But the pair's 60-run recovery stand ended with a run-out. Albury 4 for 74, with opener Morris hitting almost half of those with 36. Warren Marmo greeted the inexperienced Dylan Weeding, and Kane Arundachicus had a shout for bat pad. But Warren Marmo wasn't about to be tied down, dancing down the wicket to Williamson and dispatching for a boundary. However, the home side lost 6 for 19 to hand St Pat's the advantage. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
St Patrick's will chase outright victory against Albury on day 2 of their cricket Albury-Wodonga clash tomorrow. Paddies have already secured first innings points and will resume at 3 for 121 after dismissing Albury for just 109.
Albury was keen to make a statement on day 1 of its clash with St Patrick's, but a disappointing effort with the bat saw the home side bundled out for 109. Captain Heath Norton says the Paddies bowlers have given the side a great start.
I'm very pleased with Wayne Hawking and Plugger, the way they went about their business, and yeah, good to pick up a couple myself. So obviously the batsmen have got a big job to do this week.
Norton says while the prospect of an outright victory is enticing, there's still a long way to go with 80 overs to be bowled at Bilson Park tomorrow. While rain could hamper their chances, Paddies are well placed after taking first innings points.
They're the only ones in the provincial group that have got secured first innings points so far. So I guess it's as good as an outright at the moment, as long as the other teams don't go ahead as well.
St Patrick's face a tough run home after the Christmas break, and Norton says a strong start to the season is vital for the side.
Look, our side, we'd like to think we're up there, towards the end of the season, and I think wins before Christmas is certainly the key.
At Bilson Park, St Patrick's resumed at 3 for 121 after securing first innings points last week. Jerem Hayes was the first to depart after Aaron Morrison and Dylan Weeding ended his innings. With several washouts in recent weeks, Paddy's batsmen made the most of their time at the crease. Luke Restel led the way with 73, while Craig Manor was the pick of Albury's bowlers.
Meanwhile, St Patrick's has batted cautiously against East Albury. The Crows were missing a host of players, but the visitors restricted the top team on a slow wicket. Luke Restel and Wayne Hawking with half-centuries, while Cameron White took fifer.
East Albury was missing almost half its side due to a wedding, but it bowled superbly to leave St Patrick's reeling at 4 for 16. The home side then slipped to 6 for 49 before Luke Restel steadied the side, clipping Cameron White for a boundary and bringing up his 50. Restel and Wayne Hawking rescued the team with a 133-run stand, and when leg spinner Chris Bridle was introduced, Hawking launched his assault. Given the top order collapse, Restel needed to pace his innings, but he still showed aggression when needed, and Hawking continued to torment the young leggy with 3 successive boundaries. The pull shot followed by more through the offside, and he finished the assault when Bridle dragged the ball down. The Crows were chasing the ball all over Xavier Oval, but any cricketer will tell you leg spinning is the toughest trait to master, and Bridle stuck to his task, although Hawking continued to punish him. The third place Crows will now need around 2.5 runs per over to jump ahead of the competition leaders. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Meanwhile, East Albury will begin its chase of St Patrick's 209. Paddy's star Luke Restel scored 87 at Xavier Oval, with the visitors requiring around 2.5 runs per over.
Now the round 3 results. St Patrick's claimed top spot on the ladder after thrashing East Albury. New City outclassed Dedarang to record its first provincial win, and the clash between Belvoir and Tallangatta.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga side St Patrick's have been dealt a blow, with Heath Norton sidelined until next year. The Paddy's skipper underwent knee surgery last week and has been ordered to put his feet up until January.
Heath Norton went under the knife in Albury last week after his knee blew up following a representative match in Leeton last month. The 34-year-old says it's most likely the result of wear and tear from 20 years of cricket.
I sort of flared up probably 3 weeks ago, and I guess at 34 years of age and a lot of cricket on board, I guess there's probably just a bit of body maintenance at the moment.
St Patrick's currently sit on top of the provincial competition table, and while Norton was reluctant to undergo surgery early in the season, he opted to have the arthroscope now in an effort to be fit for the club's finals campaign.
Obviously it's a bad time of year to get it done, but look, we get it done and get it done early, get on top of it. I know guys that have played with this sort of thing, and probably by January, February, probably wish I had something done.
Norton will miss the 2-day clash against New City starting on Saturday and says he hasn't yet set a date for his return to the playing field. The Paddy skipper hopes to start running in January, but says he'll be guided by medical opinion.
I'll just take the advice of the doctors and the physios and go from there. I mean, they know better than I do, but look, it'll just be monitored, and I'm certainly not going to do anything silly over the Christmas break.
Kane Arendachakis will take over the St Patrick's captaincy in Norton's absence.
Border and North East cricketers are looking forward to resuming their rain-interrupted seasons tomorrow. In the Cricket Albury-Wodonga competition, St Patrick's are aiming to continue their unbeaten run when they meet New City.
Despite the rain-affected start to the season, St Patrick's find themselves on top of the ladder, and Luke Restle says the competition leaders are determined to finish the year on a winning note. The Paddy's batsman believes tomorrow's clash against New City could be a season-defining match.
It's a very important game for us, playing New City. They're second on the ladder, and it's important in that if we can get 3 wins up before Christmas, put us a couple of games ahead of the other teams.
With last week's round of the Cricket Albury-Wodonga season washed out, the scheduled 2-day matches will now revert to 1-day clashes tomorrow.
We haven't played this form of cricket for a long time, playing the 2020s rather than 1-day cricket. But I believe if we can bat out our 40 overs and bowl a consistent line outside off stump, that'll be the key.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga's newcomer, New City, will be chasing an unlikely competition lead tomorrow. Second place New City is home to St Patrick's in the top of the table clash.
When New City joined the association's top level from the district competition, the aim was simple.
We were happy to sort of trail around the middle of the table and see if we can get a finals berth in our first year, so that would have been nice.
But with Baker and star recruit Damien Cupido leading the team, the Phoenix could remarkably lead at the halfway mark.
To be lucky enough, I think, to be sitting second on the table at the moment, we've had a few things fall in our favour with the weather, so yeah, pretty happy with where we are.
But Baker is the first to admit it won't be easy stealing top spot from St Pat's.
I just had a look at their stats earlier, and their top 5 have made consistent runs. They've had wins over East Albury and the Albury club as well, so and people have stood up when they needed to.
Former Victorian country batsman Luke Restle is back playing representative cricket, although the loss of paceman Heath Norton is a blow in the rain-affected 1-day clash.
I think Nordo being out is going to be a big blow for him, but they've got Wayne Hawken, who's coming. I think he bagged 5 last game.
Elsewhere, East Albury hosts third place North Albury. Lavington is home to Dedarang. Albury makes the trip to Tallangatta, while Wodonga hosts Belvoir. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
St Patrick's stand-in captain Kane Arendachakis has produced one of the association's most miserly bowling figures of recent times to destroy New City, which was missing 4 players. The talented bowler claimed 5 for 6 off 7 overs, with the Paddies cruising past the paltry total.
The top of the table clash proved a fizzer, as Kane Arendachakis claimed his best figures since nearing 6 for 10 against Tallangatta in the late 1990s. Provincial newcomer, New City, was chasing top spot, but the left-arm spinner's spell torpedoed those hopes. Luke Bartley out for 13 as the Phoenix slumped to 6 for 54, but Ben Dower wasn't going to allow Arendachakis to dictate. He survived that but continued to ride his luck as the home side attacked the spinner. Dower had more success though with the medium pace of Jared Browan. Lofted drive breaking the run drought, but his luck ran out against Arendachkis. Braden Hensel with the catch. And Arendachkis didn't have to wait long for more success. David Bowd edging to second slip Tony Ferris. At 8 for 70 it was a procession. Anthony Baker striding to the crease, but it was a short stay. It meant debutant Aaron Walker, who was promoted from third grade, was on a hat-trick as the Paddies crowded the bat. But he survived the delivery. However, speedster Wayne Hawking ripped through him in the next over. New City humbled for 71 as St Pat's extended its lead at the top of the ladder.
So St Patrick's will carry the lead into Christmas. There's a 2020 round on Saturday, but that doesn't count on the two-day ladder. North has moved into second spot, but New City suffered a major fall to sixth. The top six has opened up a gap on the bottom four, which includes Premier Wodonga.
Cricket Albury Wodonga outfit St Patrick's has extended its lead at the top of the provincial competition ladder. Paddies easily accounted for New City on Saturday, with skipper Kane Arendachkis snaring 5 wickets.
After dismissing New City for just 71 runs at Urana Road Oval, St Pat's openers Grant Ellis and Pat Plummer set about reeling in the modest total. But Plummer's stay ended on 8 when Sam Nicol and Mitchell O'Brien combined. The run started to flow for fellow opener Ellis as he looked to dominate the attack, while at the other end, new batsman Dean Nicholson had some nervous moments. The young right-hander recovered to finish with 32 runs, along with Luke Restel, who remained unbeaten on 34.
Meanwhile, St Patrick's has defeated East Albury in its 2020 clash. The Patties' top four all contributed. Luke Restel unbeaten on 32, and he backed that up with the ball as Kane Arendachkis snared his second successive 5-wicket haul.
East Albury started its chase needing just over 6 runs per over as Wayne Hawking forced a plain miss from Lloyd Shepherd. Hawking's pace is always a concern, this ball climbing to the keeper, and it was tough for Ash Hocken and Shepherd. And Hawking didn't make it any easier. Hocken out for 8 as Joel Shepherd joined Lloyd Shepherd at the crease. The Crows chased quick singles and St Patrick's handed the home side an overthrow. Lloyd Shepherd then played a superb square drive for 4 as East tried to kick-start its innings, and he tried to smash another boundary from the next ball. Shepherd on his way for 20, the Crows 2 for 35. J.R. Rose has a similar aggressive approach to his older brother Alistair, slapping Steve Williamson through the offside for 4. He also avoided a beamer, but St Pat's generally bowled a tight line that ripped through the home side for 113. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
St Patrick's has made it 2 wins from 2 starts after defeating East Albury in the CAW 2020 competition. Paddy's captain Kane Arendachkis starred with bat and ball in the 14-run win at Alexandra Park on Saturday.
St Patrick's were 2 for 72 when Kane Arendachkis made his way to the crease. Fellow batsman Luke Restel was continuing his solid season form with the Willow, while Arendachkis wasted little time in getting his quest for quick runs underway. East Albury made field changes in a bid to combat the skipper's power hitting game, but Arendachkis continued to attack, even taking on the Crows' field along the way.
Keeper!
The pair remained unbeaten, taking Paddies to 2 for 127 from their 20 overs. In reply, East Albury was bundled out for 113 in their final over, Arendachkis doing the damage with the ball, capturing 5 wickets.
Cricket Albury Wodonga side St Patrick's say they're under no illusions about the challenges that lay ahead. Paddies will head into the Christmas break on top of the ladder, but face a tough run home in the new year.
St Patrick's have emerged from the rain-interrupted first half of the season to sit on top of the Cricket Albury Wodonga provincial ladder at the halfway mark. After a strong start, the club's now keen to chase its first premiership in 7 years.
I mean, it was a big goal for us this year to try and go that one step further, and all we can do is win and keep winning, and you know, against the sides we come up against, and you know, that hopefully will look after itself later in the year. So.
The ladder leaders' first 3 matches after the Christmas break will be against competition powerhouses Wodonga, Lavington and North Albury. Kane Arendachakis says the outcome of those matches could shape Paddy's season.
Wodonga first up obviously had probably a bit of a stop-start season already, but you know, we know they'll be a dangerous side. That they're under pressure to cement a final spot, and you know, we obviously want to keep our position where we are.
St Pat's have made it to the second last week of the finals for the past 2 years, and the club's eyeing a playoff berth in its bid to challenge for this year's title. Arendachakis believes recent improvements will hold the team in good stead.
I think we're definitely more disciplined, we're definitely more confident, and I think there's a bit more belief in our own ability as a team and as I said before, individually.
The Cricket Albury Wodonga provincial competition resumes on January 8.
Cricket Albury Wodonga outfit St Patrick's will look to their top order batsmen to set up victory over Wodonga. Paddies will resume at none for 7 tomorrow after their bowlers restricted the Bulldogs to 253 on day 1.
If St Patrick's can topple Wodonga at Xavier High School Oval tomorrow, it'll be due in part to the team's bowlers who stood up to be counted last week. Wodonga's batsmen were on top early on day 1 before Paddy's attack hit back.
They batted really well early, and I think it was 1 for 140, and you know, to get the last 9 wickets after tea for basically 100, really good effort for our bowlers to stick to the task.
While the Bulldogs are currently anchored to the bottom of the ladder, St Pat's skipper Kane Arendachakis is expecting a tough afternoon at the office. He says the side's batsmen will have to dig in for the full 80 overs to ensure victory.
Playing at home, you know, good total to chase against good opposition. You know, we look to guys like Luke Restall and Braden Hensel to really stand up and make their first big score for the year, and you know, try and bring us home.
Arendachakis says St Pat's, who sit on top of the provincial competition ladder, have plenty of incentive to win tomorrow as they look to kickstart the second half of their season.
Really a good scalp to get after Christmas, and then 2 big games coming up with Lavington and North Albury. So really want to sort of press home and advantage at home, and you know, try and score a win.
Elsewhere, North Albury leads Dedarang, Tallangatta's well placed against Lavington, Albury and East Albury are locked in battle, and Belvoir holds the upper hand over New City.
Meanwhile, Cricket Albury Wodonga will attempt to reignite its stop-start season. The third place Lavington Panthers host top team St Patrick's.
It's been the most frustrating season in the modern era. Rain has decimated the association, and if one more of the final 4 rounds is affected, then the bottom 2 teams in the provincial competition won't be relegated to district. The premiership could almost come down to which team retains its focus amid the delays and distractions.
Yeah, look, it's certainly been pretty difficult this year with the start-stop scenario with the weather, but I guess we just keep drumming into our players that when the opportunity comes, take it.
And St Pat's has taken its chances better than anyone to snare the lead. Norton himself has returned from injury, but the Paddies face a tough test against Lavington, which is only missing veteran paceman Simon Roach.
The 6 weeks after Christmas had a bit of a finals feel to it. Wodonga, Lavington and North Albury still to come, but yeah, look, Lavington this week, there's no secret, Trent Ball's in some pretty good form.
The Panthers coach is the leading run scorer with 363 at 91, and he's also hit a stunning 25 sixes, with the second leading run scorer in Wodonga's Robbie Jackson next best with 9. Wodonga, last year's premier, will look to push up from 8th spot when it hosts Albury in the 2-dayer, while elsewhere Tallangatta travels to New City, East Albury is home to Dedarang, and Belvoir travels to North Albury. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
St Patrick's captain Heath Norton pushed up his average to 134 after smashing an unbeaten 90 against the Lavington Panthers in Cricket Albury Wodonga. Pat Plummer and Luke Restall also chipped in as the top team posted 237.
Heath Norton has been one of the association's leading pacemen since the late 90s, but injury cruelled the first half of his season. His big hitting has always been dangerous, but he's rocketed past a century average at number 6. The Panthers thought they had a chance though when he lofted through the covers, and he received terrific support from Luke Restall, who plays the pull shot as well as anyone. The pair combined at 4 for 97 with Norton in sublime touch. It was one of several sixes as the skipper led his team to a competitive total, but he did have some luck. Panthers coach Trent Ball ruining the miss as Norton and Restall combined in a 107-run stand. Restall showed his class through the onside on his way to 48, while Norton effortlessly put Lavington captain James Tonkin out of the small Scots School Oval. Norton has been dismissed just once this season, and with only 3 rounds left after this one, his innings could prove crucial as the Paddies look to topple the third-placed home side.
Meanwhile, St Patrick's will be chasing early wickets on day 2 of its encounter with Lavington at the Scots School Oval. Batting first on the opening day, Paddy's compiled 6 for 237, with Pat Plummer getting the ladder leaders off to a good start, scoring 48. Fellow opener Grant Ellis worked hard for his 18 runs before Andrew Taylor and Michael Klein-Boonsgate ended his innings. Paddy skipper Heath Norton top-scored with an unbeaten 90, leaving Lavington's batsmen with plenty of work to do when play resumes.
The Lavington Panthers' hopes of stealing Cricket Albury-Wodonga's minor premiership will face a serious test tomorrow. The third-placed Panthers are chasing competition leader St Patrick's target of 237.
St Patrick's hold a 1-point lead over North Albury, with the Panthers another 8 points behind. With only 3 rounds left, a loss to the Paddies would damage Lavington's hopes of stealing top spot.
They have a good attack and they're on top of the ladder at the moment, so it's a good challenge for us. We struggled last game against Collingwood with the bat, so we were out to prove ourselves this week.
The Panthers have adopted Scots School as their home ground this season, as the Lavington Sports Ground is undergoing repair work. It's a tiny ground and Ball has already smashed a host of sixes there, but St Pat's captain Heath Norton suggested last week it was a slow.
Lavington will be looking to grab a top 2 spot on the ladder in tomorrow's round of the Cricket Albury-Wodonga provincial competition. The third-place Panthers are confident of reeling in St Patrick's total of 237.
Competition leader St Patrick's posted 6 for 237 from 80 overs on day 1. Tomorrow, Lavington will commence their first innings at Scots School Oval, a venue that's proven to be a happy hunting ground for the Panthers.
Yeah, it has been before Christmas, those few innings that we played there. We've batted well there. We know the ground pretty well by now, and we think that 237's very gettable at a ground like Scots.
With a batting lineup that includes double century maker Trent Ball and the return of middle-order batsman Andrew Taylor from Canberra, the Panthers are confident they've got the artillery to topple the ladder leaders.
Andrew Maggs had a good summer. He's batting really well at the top as well. Liam Scammell at 3 and Andrew Taylor back at number 5. We're looking pretty good. We've covered the bases that we needed to cover, and we're really confident with our batting lineup this week.
Lavington skipper James Tonkin concedes Paddies have a more than capable attack and says his side will need to knuckle down early in an effort to apply some pressure on the bowlers.
There's a few good bowlers in the Paddies lineup, but having said that, if we can put some pressure on a few of their key bowlers, then it'll make it hard for them. Aaron Darchis has bowled really well and taken lots of wickets this summer, so he's one that we're going to watch.
St Patrick's have maintained top spot after defeating Lavington in the Cricket Albury-Wodonga provincial competition. Fast bowler Wayne Hawking took 6 for 47 to guide Paddies to a thrilling 5-run win at Scots School on Saturday.
Lavington commenced their innings on day 2, chasing St Pat's total of 237. James Tonkin and Liam Scammell came together after the loss of 2 early wickets, with skipper Tonkin showing plenty of aggression against the strong Paddies attack. Kane Arundachicus bowled with little luck, denied LBW decisions on 2 occasions, before Tonkin hit back, finding the boundary twice in 1 over during his knock of 54. All-rounder Scammell led the way for Lavington, top scoring with 84, but it wasn't enough, with the home side falling short after being bowled out for 232 in the 80th over. Wayne Hawking was in devastating form, snaring 6 wickets in the 5-run win.
North Albury has joined St Patrick's on top of Cricket Albury-Wodonga's provincial ladder. The Paddies won a 5-run thriller against Lavington, with Wayne Hawking's 6-wicket haul topping half-centuries by Liam Scammell and James Tonkin.
Veteran St Patrick's captain Heath Norton called it one of the best games he's ever played. With 10 overs remaining, Lavington needed only 30 runs with 3 wickets left, but Wayne Hawking proved the difference. Earlier on, though, it appeared Panthers captain James Tonkin, representative all-rounder Liam Scammell would end the Paddies' run on top. St Pat's medium pacer Nick Flood felt the full force of Tonkin's power. Tonkin with a cracking 6 at the small Scott School Oval, and from the next ball he repeated the shot, this time for 4. St Pat's hands-on hip set it all. Captain Norton with a problem that was threatening to tear the game away. Scammell then joined in the aggression stakes with a superb hook shot against Hawking for just 1 run, and then he too joined in the attack on Flood, clipping through the mid-wicket for a boundary, and followed that with a slog sweep to belt the medium pacer out of the attack. Hawking, though, had a shout against Scammell. Jared Browan replaced Flood, but Tonkin showed a swashbuckling calypso-like shot off one knee. He played a back cut from the next delivery for another boundary, and then brought up his half-century with one of the few shots which didn't hit the middle. Hawking had a tough leg side chance against Tonkin, and it looked likely to cost the visitors as Lavington needed just 63 with 7 wickets left, only to fall short. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
So it's a two-way tie at the top of the ladder. But St Pat's remain the competition leader on percentage from North, with New City's controversial win over Tallangatta, pushing the provincial newcomers to within sight of a finals berth. The Crows' hiding of Dedarang, which included centuries to Ash Hocken and Lloyd Shepherd, has the Crows in 5th spot, with the Bushies rounding out the top 6.
Border and North East cricketers are watching the sky with rain threatening this weekend's round of matches. In the Cricket Albury-Wodonga provincial competition, North Albury faced St Patrick's in a top-of-the-table clash.
Rhys Jones admits the Hoppers have been counting down to this week's match. The second-place North Albury will do battle with top-of-the-table St Pat's at Saviour Oval. And while the visitors boast a strong recent record over Paddy's, Jones expects another close result.
Looking back in the past games, we've tended to come out on top in the tight ones as well, so we're fairly sure this one will be another tight one, so we'll go from that, and with the experience that we've got, hopefully we'll have enough there.
Jones believes tomorrow's coin toss could have a vital bearing on the match. Despite missing injured skipper David Farrell, North Albury will field a strong batting lineup, and the all-rounders hoping the Hoppers can make first use of a wicket, likely to give some assistance.
We know what to expect over a couple of grand finals there and a fair few games we've played against them. But the outfield's always quick as well, so once you get in, you're in for a good time.
Jones brings good form into the match with a century in the last round win over Belvoir. He says the team gained much confidence from the victory and are keen to back it up tomorrow.
We changed the batting lineup a little bit with myself and Brendan Simmons opening up, which is something we haven't done in a while, so we enjoyed that, and a couple other guys actually stood up in young Ben Juice, and Michael Booth really bowled well too.
In other round 7 fixtures, Lavington play East Albury, Tallangatta meet Wodonga, Albury take on New City, and Dedarang host Belvoir.
St Patrick's batsman Pat Plummer has heaped praise on North Albury's underrated attack ahead of tomorrow's top-of-the-table clash in Cricket Albury-Wodonga, but heavy rain is forecast.
With only 3 rounds left, a battle between the top teams would generally be highly anticipated, but the stop-start nature of the season due to rain and the threat of another disrupted weekend has stalled interest. Still, if play proceeds, a win for either St Patrick's or North Albury will prove a major step towards sealing the minor premiership, particularly given third-place New City trails by almost 15 points. And while St Pat's has enormous respect for North's star-studded batting, the underrated bowling attack is also highly rated by the competition leaders.
Yeah, look, I think they've got a really good bowling lineup with young Juicy and Malachan opening, and you've obviously got Jack with his offies, and Dave Costello bowls very good line and length, and it's hard to get away.
North has 2 players in the association's top 10 bowlers. Greg Daniel has 13 wickets at 29, while Costello has snared 9 at 37. But St Pat's Wayne Hawking is the leading wicket taker with 20 at 25.5. He destroyed Lavington Panthers last week with 6 for 47 from 25 overs. The Paddies and North sit on 56.72 points apiece.
Back home, and border cricketers have suffered further disruptions to their season after play was again washed out on Saturday. North Albury all-rounder Rhys Jones has described the rain-affected season as the most frustrating in his memory.
As the rain tumbled down across the border over the weekend, frustration levels for the border's provincial cricket ranks rose sharply.
Very, very frustrating with the way everything's shaped up. We've actually down here in South Albury, you can see we get a fair bit of flooding down this end of town with the drainage the way it is, and to know that it comes through and ruin your plans for a good Saturday afternoon's cricket is quite disheartening.
North Albury's Rhys Jones, whose side was scheduled to play St Patrick's in a top-of-the-table clash at Xavier Oval on Saturday, says this season's conditions are the worst he can recall in the past decade.
From my recollection, I think now about 10 years in A-grade, and by far this has been the most horrible in regards to weather.
The weekend downpour saw day one of round 7 matches scrapped. Cricket Albury-Wodonga says those clashes will now revert to one-day fixtures this week. But with forecasts of further rain, players have their fingers crossed that play will get underway.
It'd be nice, especially coming into finals. You know, a couple of our guys are a little underdone, as most other sides are, I think. So to get a couple of good games of cricket in before the finals coming up, that'd be certainly priority on our list.
With wet weather continuing to play havoc with this season's competition, Cricket Albury-Wodonga will consider scrapping the relegation system at a board meeting tomorrow night.
Continued rain tomorrow could see Cricket Albury-Wodonga's relegation system abandoned for this season. Second last placed Albury admit the weather's likely to provide a lifeline to their provincial competition hopes.
They say every cloud has a silver lining, and for provincial side Albury, the border's latest downpour could be theirs. The second last placed outfit are due to meet New City at Bilson Park tomorrow, but another washout could see the club escape relegation to the district competition.
If we get to a Saturday and we can play, well, let's make the most of our opportunity. If it's wet, well, we just worry about what has to happen from there.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga ruled the relegation system would be scrapped if 2 more rounds of play were lost due to wet weather after Christmas. Albury coach Craig Manor says that's a fair outcome for all teams.
We obviously haven't had to play against each other, and I suppose the conditions haven't been fair. And look, you have got your top side, your North Albury's and Lavies and St Pat's, and they are the teams that are the best to beat. And we want to give ourselves a chance of being able to beat them.
Albury's youthful lineup has struggled for on-field consistency this season, and Manor says if the club can survive the threat of relegation, it'll give them an opportunity to build towards a more secure future.
Be able to target a few guys from maybe other clubs or coming to the area, and if we can get a bit more experience, maybe a few more batters and a couple of bowlers, it adds a little bit more depth to us as well.
In other matches set down for tomorrow, Lavington play East Albury, Tallangatta meet Wodonga, St Patrick's host North Albury, and Belvoir travel to Dedarang.
Another weekend of rain-affected matches has seen Cricket Albury-Wodonga scrap its relegation system. In December, the association ruled the controversial system would be postponed for 12 months if 2 more full rounds of the provincial competition were affected by wet weather after Christmas. Saturday's washout saves the battling Albury and Dedarang from relegation to the district division. Cricket Albury-Wodonga will introduce measures to safeguard clubs from disruptions next season.
Rain again forced the cancellation of Saturday cricket across the border and northeast. Round 8 of the provincial competition and round 12 of the Wangaratta district will now be played as one-dayers this weekend, weather permitting. North Albury and Wodonga will play off in the Cricket Albury-Wodonga T20 Grand Final after both teams secured hard-fought wins over the weekend. The Hoppers had a thrilling game, winning in the last moments by just 1 run.
It was a tough start for the Hoppers, with left-arm speed bowler Wayne Hawking delivering an early blow. Dave Costello stepped up and starred, smashing a massive 66 for the Hoppers. North Albury continued to pile on the runs as St Pat's missed opportunities in the field and at the stumps to get the home side out. Skipper Rod Barton was hot on the bat, making 21 runs to help his side to victory. North Albury finished at 4 for 123, beating St Patrick's by 1 run at 4 for 122. The Hoppers are now through to the decider, hoping to better last year's grand final loss.
Cricket Albury-Wodonga will host its final round this weekend. And North Albury will look to claim the minor premiership when it travels to Tallangatta. North holds a 2-point lead. The Bushies, meantime, sit in 4th spot, but they'll still hope to jump above Lavington to grab 3rd. St Patrick's will like its chances of stealing top spot, given it has the easier game against Dedarang. Because of the rain-interrupted season, the relegation system has been scrapped for this season, so Dedarang, which sits second last, will have little to play for. The final 2-dayer will be held both tomorrow and on Sunday. It's been one of the most disrupted seasons in history, with 7 of the 9 2-dayers rain-affected. St Pat's edged home by less than half a point, or around 20 runs, and given the amount of rain in the past 6 months, the Patties are well placed. East Albury and Wodonga jumped 2 places in the final round. This weekend's 3 finals are scheduled for both days, with St Pat's home to Tallangatta. North Albury takes on the Panthers, while the Crows are home to Wodonga. Tallangatta will need to overcome statistics if it's to extend Steve Wood's outstanding Cricket Albury Wodonga career. The Bushies don't have a batsman in the top 30, heading into their sudden death clash against St Patrick's at Xavier Oval.
St Patrick's is the only team whose season isn't on the line in the weekend's 2-dayer. The 2 lowest placed losers drop out, so if there's 3 upsets, the minor premier is the sole top 3 team left.
Yeah, look, it's been a few years since we finished on top, and we certainly worked hard to do that in the last game at Dedarang.
The Paddies jumped above North Albury in the final round, with 20 runs proving the difference between the minor premiership and a potential sudden death final. And it could also be the last time the association sees one of its greatest ever players in Steve Wood. The 2-time Victorian country representative has announced he'll retire, and Norton doesn't believe the emotional factor will have an impact.
Not really. Woody's been a fantastic player and one of my personal favourite players in the competition since I arrived here in Albury, and look, he's certainly a big stage player. We've seen that in semi-finals in recent years.
Wood turns 42 next month, and he'll be hoping for at least 3 more 5-star performances. And the Bushies certainly need someone to feature. While St Pat's former Victorian country rep in Luke Restle sits 7th on the association's run scorer list with 283 at 47, Tallangatta's best comes in at 34th. Grant Burt has 123 runs at 21. It's not a good sign coming up against the association's leading bowler in Wayne Hawking, with 24 wickets at 10.
Meanwhile, Tallangatta's Matt Armstrong posted a century in an upset win over St Patrick's. Armstrong and Nathan Thompson provided the bulk of the Bushies' total, with Kane Arundachakis bagging 4 wickets. Pat Plummer struck the game's second ton, with the visitors claiming the match just minutes before last night's rain.
Nick Flood tore through Tallangatta's top order, leaving the visitors at 3 for 21, with Steve Wood and Matt Armstrong handed the task of saving the season. The competition's leading wicket-taker, Wayne Hawking, beat Armstrong, who was bamboozled how the ball got through. In what could well have been his final bat after announcing his retirement, Wood took strike and got off the mark in the next over. Flood then forcing a play and miss from Armstrong. St Pat's gave little away, and the Bushies had to make the most of any opportunity. Armstrong with the square cut for 4. And when Hawking handed Wood a half volley, he produced a classic cover drive. It was slow going though as the visitors looked to resurrect the innings, but Armstrong started to push the scoring, a beautifully timed straight drive, making the boundary. However, Flood replied with a ripper. The Paddies' mid-season recruit from Western Australia, Peter Evans, was introduced, and Armstrong greeted him with a pull shot for 4. The pair combined in an 81-run stand, a crucial stand, as the Bushies held off St Pat's by 24 runs. Jonathan Kersley, Win News.
North Albury's hopes for another grand final appearance were ended when the 6th-placed Tallangatta upstaged league leaders St Pat's. Matt Armstrong was in outstanding form for the Bushrangers, scoring a century in his side's first innings at Xavier Oval on Saturday. Kane Arundachakis toiled hard for Paddies, capturing 4 for 51 off 16 overs, as Tallangatta piled on what would be a match-winning total of 257 runs. Pat Plummer finished on 102 not out in St Pat's run chase yesterday, but the home side suffered its first defeat of the season when it was stranded on 7 for 233.
Cricket Albury Wodonga will have 2 new grand finalists. Wodonga and North Albury were bundled out after Lavington's Liam Scammell tore through North's much-vaunted batting. And Paul Mongan led the visitors to a stunning 4-wicket win.
Lavington was desperate to bounce back after last year's finals capitulation against North. Michael Klein-Burnskate joined Paul Mongan at 5 for 99, Dave Costello with the ball, and he couldn't believe Mongan didn't hit it. North finished second after the regular season, and the home side became desperate to break the partnership. And Daniel provided hope. The Panthers 6 for 116, needing another 19. The close calls continued for Steve Keane, but Mongan showed no nerves against Josh Malachan. An edge through slips reduced the target further, then Mongan brought it back to 7. The former representative batsman produced a square cut for another boundary, as the Panthers produced the sweetest win of their season. Keane was delighted, and he soon brought out the party tricks too with the reverse sweep to the boundary. The Panthers set up the win on day one when Liam Scammell destroyed North's batting. Keane tested Rod Barton, and it was a slow start, but David Farrell attacked Keane, but his 43 was the only score above 30 as North blew an opportunity for its 7th premiership in the past 12 seasons. Lavington will now face Tallangatta at Bilson Park, while St Patrick's host East Albury. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
North Albury are out of the Cricket Albury-Wodonga Provincial Finals race after a shock loss to Lavington over the weekend. They were bundled out after Tallangatta surprised St Patrick's, while Wodonga also fell at the first hurdle.
North Albury won the toss and made a bright start with the bat before things began to sour for the provincial powerhouse. A spirited performance in the field by an upbeat Lavington saw the second-place Hoppers crumble to 6 for 115. Middle-order batsmen Greg Daniels and Josh Malachan tried to mount a late innings revival for the struggling side. But when Malachan fell to Brendan Klein-Burnskate, any hopes of a big Hoppers total went with the right-hander. Liam Scammell was the hero for Lavington, taking 6 for 30 as North Albury were restricted to just 134 in the 57th over. Paul Mongan and Trent Ball led the way with the bat yesterday as Lavington passed the required total for the loss of 6 wickets.
St Patrick's is wary of East Albury's bowling attack heading into the weekend's Cricket Albury-Wodonga semi-final at Alexandra Park. The Crows have 3 of the top 10 wicket takers.
Of the 4 semi-finalists, East Albury attracted the least fanfare. The Crows finished third, and although they posted only 163 against Wodonga, the attack ripped through the visitors' batting, which included Cricketer of the Year Robbie Jackson for just 92.
It's probably their bowling. They haven't made a hell of a lot of runs, but they've got a lot of quality youngsters in the bowling department.
Former North Albury player Brad Nayland sits 7th in the association's bowling with 16 wickets at 14. And stalwart Grant Lewis is next, also with 16, while Cameron White rounds out a hat-trick of Crows with 15 dismissals.
And with the coach Gary Gray being a former legend bowler, they just bowl really tight lines.
St Patrick's are determined to bounce back in their Cricket Albury-Wodonga preliminary final against East Albury this weekend. After finishing the season on top of the ladder, Paddies were given a wake-up call by Tallangatta last week.
After just sneaking into the competition's top 6 late in the season, Tallangatta served it up to the previously unbeaten St Pat's last weekend. Paddy skipper Heath Norton says the loss serves as a timely reminder.
Yeah, I reckon we probably lost our way in the middle there a bit. Like Tallangatta, to their credit, they bowl very well. They set some good fields. Andrew Lade's a very, very competitive captain.
East Albury have flown under the radar for much of the season, and while some have dismissed the Crows' premiership credentials, Norton says a side that includes the likes of Lloyd Shepherd must be respected.
I say they deserve their spot to be there. They've played some good cricket, got some good plays, and the Shepherds and Rosie and Kerf and them sort of guys. So, yeah, look, we're in for a big hit out this weekend.
St Patrick's lost the corresponding match to Wodonga last season, and the skipper admits his side's determined to go one better this year. With Wodonga and North Albury eliminated from the finals jigsaw last week, Norton's challenged his senior players to step up and lead the way tomorrow.
We're looking for those quality, experienced players to step up this week, and look, we know the reward's there if we do, and we know what happens if we don't. So, it's pretty plain to see what needs to happen.
In the other preliminary final clash, Tallangatta will look to continue its finals charge when they meet Lavington at Bilson Park.
Meanwhile, St Patrick's will be out to break a 7-year premiership drought. Casey Arandarchika's top scored in the Patties total of 221, Alistair Rose with 3 wickets. But the Crows' tail wagged as the visitors scored a thrilling 7-run victory.
St Patrick's was desperate to stop a slide from minor premiers to a straight sets exit, but it didn't start well. Connor Kilpatrick ripping through last week's century maker, Pat Plummer. St Pat's 1 for 4 and it could easily have been 2 when Casey Arondarchikis faced his second ball. The Crows' response indicated it was a crucial opportunity lost, and Arondarchikis continued to live dangerously outside off, this time against Cameron White. And St Patrick's nervous start continued when the pair ran on a slight misfield. Grant Ellis just home, and from the next ball, Kilpatrick provided another test. Despite the scratchy start, the pair combined in a 90-run stand, setting up a competitive total. St Pat's captain Heath Norton felt 221 was going to be a tough target, but the Crows' tail pushed the home side to within reach of a superb win. Jonathan Kersley, Win News.
At Alexandra Park, St Patrick's got off to a strong start, losing just 1 for 83. Casey Arondarchikis belted 46 to help give Paddies the upper hand. Grant Ellis was just as handy, notching up 38 after a lucky escape which almost saw him caught behind. But minutes later, Arondarchikis wasn't as lucky, bowled by Joel Shepherd. St Pat's hit 221 before dismissing East Albury for 214 with just 2 overs to go, giving them a 7-run win into the grand final. Crystal Kerr, Prime 7 News.
Long-time cricket historian Joe Wooding has declared Steve Wood comparable with any of the best border players of the past 60 years. Wood has retired after 20 years terrorising both batsmen and bowlers.
Steve Wood's bowling was never officially clocked, but some New South Wales players told him he was as quick as Ashes tourist Wayne Holdsworth, who pushed 150 kilometres an hour. And a teenager at Bunton Park will never forget him.
I ducked a bouncer from him, and I had a mullet back then, and it actually flicked my hair. And he came down and in all honesty said, "Kid, could you please put a helmet on for me because I don't want to kill you?"
I remember hitting a couple of guys, and you don't like hitting them, but you do remember seeing a bit of claret on the ground.
Wood moved from Queensland in late 1990, and in 57 games at Wodonga, which included a premiership, he hit 3 hard-hitting centuries in averaging 32.48 and claimed a remarkable 143 wickets. He then snared another title with Tallangatta, and while his statistics aren't available, he became the association's greatest century maker with 18. And the author of 150 Not Out says he's comparable with any player post-war.
Just about. I mean, his all-round ability's been fantastic. I mean, he can bat, bowl and field.
Aside from the premierships, probably playing against Western Australia at Lavington, that was just a sensational opportunity.
Current Australian players Simon Kadich and Mike Hussey played, along with speedster Brad Williams.
Joey Angel hit the bat as hard as I've ever noticed a bowler hit the bats.
Wood represented Victorian country twice and was the oldest man in a decade at 40 when he played last year.
Last year was as quick as he's bowled. I had to go to hospital and get an X-ray on my arm.
And North will never forget a semi-final.
I've never seen him bowl that fast, and there's a lot of stories about when he's bowled quick. He was smoking that day.
I'd have the wicketkeeper stand back, you know, a wicket to a wicket and a half back behind the stumps, and he really put the wind up North Albury that day.
And while every opponent raved about his ability, they also praised his class as a man.
I hope he's watching this, but you're a sensational guy to go with all your ability, so it's been a pleasure to play against you.
Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Was indeed. To cricket now, and both St Pat's and Lavington are looking to end long premiership droughts when they meet this weekend in the decider. Both teams are predicting a very close game with bowlers tipped to make the difference.
St Pat scraped into the grand final by just 7 runs, and skipper Heath Norton is predicting another close matchup against Lavington.
I think it's going to be a game of the bowlers. Actually, this grand final, I think the batsmen have probably played some good finals in recent years, but I think Lavington have got quite a good attack, and likewise we have as well.
Paddies have made one change. Coach Steve Williamson is out, replaced by informed Jared Brom. Norton says the minor premiers are hoping to put the pressure on early, but will have a tough job holding off Liam Scammell, the Klein Boonscape brothers and James Tonkin to win their first premiership in 8 seasons.
Wayne Hawking, obviously he's bowling very fast at the moment and quite fit. I think Peter Evans is a bit of a surprise packet for us. He moved from Western Australia at Christmas time, and quality player, plenty of finals experience, and we're certainly going to be calling on him to do a job tomorrow.
The Panthers go into the grand final in their best form of the season.
We're pretty confident, but saying that, St Pat's has been the best team all year, so I think it'll be a pretty close game on the weekend.
It could be the last premiership chance for Paul Mongan and Steve Keane.
We've been waiting a long time. Last year we got knocked out in the semi-final, and it's been 9 seasons since we've won one, so it's been a long time. We can't wait.
Crystal Kerr, Prime 7 News.
Lavington coach Trent Ball has labelled St Patrick's batsman Casey Arendachikis the danger man in this weekend's Cricket Albury-Wodonga Grand Final. Arendachikis doesn't boast the profile of former Victorian country rep Luke Restall, but the Panthers respect his ability. Two of the association's seasoned campaigners are split on the likely Grand Final result, and opposition players say the Grand Final is set to be another thriller.
North Albury and Wodonga have produced 2 cracking deciders, with David Farrell's match-winning century for North 2 years ago dubbed one of the great grand final innings. Coincidentally, on one of the few dry weekends this season, St Patrick's and Lavington staged a match veteran Paddy's captain Heath Norton later called one of the best matches he'd ever played in. St Pat's won a 5-run thriller after Wayne Hawking tore through the Panthers to claim 6 for 47. And an East Albury stalwart, who played in last weekend's thrilling loss to the Paddies, feels they'll win.
I think St Pat's will tip Lavington, and there'll be about 20 runs in it, and that's just based on their batting depth.
But one long-time all-rounder disagrees. He felt the full force of Lavington a fortnight ago, ending North's season at its earliest point in many years.
It's a tough one to pick, which is excellent. There really is no standout favourite for me, but if I had to pick someone, I'll go for Lavington, purely on I think that they are really peaking at the right time.
And no player is in better form than former ACT junior representative Liam Scammell. He destroyed North with a 6-wicket haul and blasted an unbeaten 145 against Tallangatta to continue his march towards becoming the association's top all-rounder.
Oh, he'd be getting close. He's up there with a few others, but he's having a great end of the year.
Andrew Moyer, Win News.
And Luke Restall's unforgettable grand final century. And joining us now for a massive weekend of sport, it's over to Sean Sowerby.
Thank you, Bruce. St Patrick's Luke Restall has produced one of the great grand final innings to rip the premiership away from the Lavington Panthers in Cricket Albury-Wodonga. Restall struck an unbeaten 112 and hit the winning runs in a 53-run stand with paceman Wayne Hawking for the 9th wicket.
At the start of the 79th over at 6:22 p.m, St Patrick's needed 3 runs for victory. Luke Restall writing his name into St Pat's history in just his 2nd season.
Yeah, it'd be my favourite innings, I guess. Had a bit of luck, got topped a couple of times.
100 not out in a winning grand final, that's just stuff you dream about.
But midway through the 80 overs, St Pat's hopes of breaking a 7-year drought was looking like a dream. Restall's ability, though, to play the pull shot was decisive. But an unusual pull shot had the Panthers excited about a run-out. Lavington was then adamant it had Kane Arendachikis. And the Panthers were filthy with the not-out decision, and the frustration kept coming. Again, the Panthers couldn't believe the not-out call, but Lavington blew a massive opportunity to snare Restall. But that was an omen for what was to come in a frenetic finale. Restall blasted another of his 17 fours. But after a 64-run stand, the Panthers saw an opening. The Paddies 6 for 156, but Restall continued to torment the bowling side. But then James Tonkin yorked Peter Evans. With 15 overs left, it was frantic. And when the star of the finals, Liam Scammell, was reintroduced, Jerem Hayes was out. The home side 8 for 181, needing another 53 runs. Wayne Hawking joined Restall, who played yet another pull shot for a boundary despite the desperate dive. And then came two crucial moments, Scammell to Hawking, Andrew Taylor with a drop catch, and just minutes later, Restall popped the ball to Paul Mongan at square leg. After 75 overs, the Paddies needed 17 runs, and when Hawking launched Tonkin for 6, it just needed Restall's finishing touch.
They saw a quality person make a quality innings today, and got us over the line.
Meanwhile, day one was dominated by Lavington Panthers captain James Tonkin. Outgoing coach Trent Ball called the performance the best innings he'd seen at any level.
Lavington won the toss and batted, but slumped to 3 for 39. And when Andrew Taylor then fell at 72, James Tonkin and Paul Mongan needed a partnership. But Kane Arendachakis had a shout against Mongan. And the former long-time rep star punished the off-spinner in the same over. Tonkin then joined in the boundary action, with West Australian recruit Peter Evans on the receiving end. Mongan, though, had another close call. But when Arendachakis dropped the ball short, Mongan swung the ball to the boundary. Mongan has always had a fine technique, and he punished Evans with a pull shot and then went offside with a lofted drive. The pair carried the score to 106 before the introduction of Jared Browan proved successful with his second ball. Mongan out for 11, the Paddies 5 down, as they battled desperately but unsuccessfully to snap an 8-year premiership drought. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
And it's St Patrick's Day as the Border Club wraps up not one, but 3 premierships.
This is Prime 7 News.
Cricket first, and St Patrick's have won the provincial premiership by 2 wickets at the weekend. The club is on an absolute high after their second and third grade sides also claim premierships.
Lavington won the toss and batted first. Andrew Maggs and Liam Scammell were under pressure early after coach Trent Ball went out for a duck, but the horror start continued. Maggs managed a boundary, but notched up just 13 runs. Partner Liam Scammell contributed 2 fours. On his way to a total of 12 runs when Wayne Hawking delivered the blow that saw the Lavington batsman caught by Grant Ellis. Panthers skipper James Tonkin stepped in and lifted the stakes, smashing his way past the century to 116. Lavington reached 9 for 233 off 80 overs before St Pat's came into bat. Paddies also had a rough start, losing Ellis and Hensel for 11 each and Norton for 5, putting the team at 5 for 92. But Luke Restall stepped up, belting 112 to help St Pat's win the game.
Luke Restall certainly showed the way, and his 112 not out will certainly go down in history books as one of the best innings. So, yeah, it's a fantastic effort.
Paddies won the game with just 11 balls remaining, finishing with a total of 8 for 234. Skipper Heath Norton says it's a dream come true.
We've been preparing for this for 3 or 4 years now, and to get the team that we got on the park, and everybody contributed right through. It took 12 of us, and yeah, just a fantastic feeling all round.
Crystal Kerr, Prime 7 News.
St Patrick's veteran Kane Arendachakis has labelled Luke Restall's match-winning grand final century the best he's seen at the club. And an emotional captain, Heath Norton, says the second-year recruit now bleeds green and white.
It was an emotional moment when the long-time Paddies captain greeted his match winner.
It's something we've been working towards probably 3 or 4 years now. And
it might have been the season which never got started due to rain, but it ended with a third successive thrilling grand final. St Patrick's ran down Lavington Panthers 233, with Luke Restall hitting the winning runs with 11 balls left.
We went and identified him, a few years ago. It took a long time to get him across, but he's paid us in spades today. That's the best I've seen here for sure.
That's a massive compliment, but Restel's unbeaten 112, which included 17 falls, was majestic. And it's also his first century there after posting just 295 runs at 25 last season. He previously captained Albury Titans.
It was a very hard decision to leave the club I was playing for previously. A couple of other players left and I thought it would be the best move for my cricket, and a great bunch of blokes to play with too. Most enjoyable cricket I've played.
Restel finished with 454 runs at 57, and it was just his second premiership from 7 attempts. But it's the temperament and technique which sets him apart.
A lot of hard work, mate. A lot of hard work. My old man, stepdad, Barry McDonald when I was a junior, a lot of help.
He talks to you all the time, and you always got confidence, and you know he's going to make the runs as long as you're there with him to the end.
Someone like Luke Restel and Wayne Hawking have come from other clubs, and they bleed green and white now.
And St Pat's claimed the top 3 titles at provincial level. Andrew Moyer, Win News.